Sup, chumps? Just took a hot, steamy piss and we're ready to rock and roll. Today we're going to be breaking down the main card of UFC 303. This card is, as you know, massively different from the initial supposed return of Conor McGregor until he hurt his little pinky toe and decided he couldn't show up just so he could get replaced with a man with 2 broken toes. So this card's getting headlined by Alex Pereira and Yuri Prochazka too. A rematch that not a ton of people were asking for, but also a lot of people are very okay with seeing. And today we're just gonna be looking at the main card, starting with the main card opener, Ian Machado Gary, working our way up to the main event. Just gonna talk him down, give my thoughts on him, each individual fight. We'll see how it goes. I haven't done one of these since UFC 299, and I got a couple of those fights horrendously wrong. And there was a fight that, speaking of, hold up, let's get into it. We're going to start with Ian Machado Gary and Michael Venom Page. Speaking of Michael Venom Page, we're gonna forget my prediction with the Kevin Holland fight, right? We're gonna forget my prediction on that. I've never been more confidently wrong in my entire life. That was egregious. Michael Venom Page went on to, I thought it was a stupendous display. Stupendous? That might not be the right word. Stupendous. Something. I thought it was a fantastic display from Michael Venom Page. I know a lot of people, I guess, found it boring, which I recently discovered on Twitter, but Twitter is kind of worthless. So, yeah. I'm not doubting Michael Venom Page again. He's a slight underdog here again, but this time he's coming in with a reach advantage, an obvious speed advantage. Maybe not necessarily a power advantage or a dynamic skill set advantage. I think Ian Machado Gary is more well-rounded than Michael Venom Page. I think he's going to try to bully him with a little bit of weight because Ian Gary's a little bit thicker than him, but Ian Gary's also vegan and he looks a little plumpy, less yoked and testosterone filled. He looks a little plumpy. I am a little bit worried that Ian might be able to time some really good leg kicks, maybe even some good open body kicks on Michael Venom Page, but Kevin Holland had a reach advantage and he wasn't able to touch Page. He had it close in the second round where he was getting close to a submission, but he failed anyways. And I think to Ian Machado's detriment, the man has been training in Brazil. He's been training in shoot to box, right? With Oliveira. He's trained a bit with Gilbert Burns. He's trained with mostly with Oliveira down in shoot to box. I think he has been preparing for his fight that was supposed to happen. Screw you, Kobe Covington. With Kobe Covington. I think he's been preparing for a wrestler. I don't think he's prepared to offensively grapple so much as he was preparing to defensively grapple. And I don't think he's going to be ready for Michael Venom Page. I think Michael Venom Page is going to kind of style on him a bit. And I think Michael Venom Page, towards the second half of the second round, is going to KO him. I think he's going to land something big. He's going to follow it up, and he's going to put Ian Gary away. Gary's been dropped before, and obviously it was mostly because he kept his hands down when he stayed in the pocket for some reason. He landed a couple good shots. I think one of them was blocked against, I don't remember his name. Kanong? I don't remember. I'm not going to try to guess. But it's like the most popular video of like him being open to the left hook. And he brought his right hand down and he stays in boxing range without backing up, moving his head, anything, and he just gets dropped. So yeah, round 2, TKO for Michael Venom Page is my thoughts on this fight. So underdog, first main card opener here. All right, this fight is essentially a pick'em. I'm hoping that's a little even. There we go. This is in the women's bantamweight division. This is MBS. Sounds like IBS. This is MBS versus Macy Chiasson. Now, Chiasson was beating, I believe it was Irene Aldana, who ended up going to have the most disgustingly pathetic performance where she stood there and did nothing against Amanda Nunes for 5 rounds straight. And the only time she did anything in the first round, it was really effective. And I will forever share disdain for the Irene Aldana line, and I curse her firstborn son or child, or if she has kids. I curse her family. I curse her family. Her entire bloodline shall never know peace. All right. That's a little far. But in this one, I'm going with, since it's a 3-rounder, I'm going with Mario Bueno Silva. I think that she's going to have a grappling advantage. I know she's quite a bit smaller, than Macy Chiasson, but she's a bit bigger, and I believe her grappling's quite a bit stronger. I mean, she was getting held up against the fence against. Oh, no, maybe not. She was losing to Holly Holm until she got that submission. Was she not? But she was beating Raquel Pennington until like the later rounds. I think Mario Buenasilva is going to be able to take 2 rounds here and win a split decision even. I believe it's going to be a clear first round for Silva, a very close second round that could go either way, and a fairly clear third round for Macy Chiasson. I'm kind of rooting for Macy Chiasson. I find her a little bit more interesting to watch. I can't tell you why. I just remember watching the fight with Irene Aldana, and I picked Macy Chiasson, and I was really mad because Macy Chiasson was winning and making me look like a big brain man. And then she got liver up kicked, which I don't think has ever happened before. But yeah, I'm going with, did I say Silva or Chiasson? I'm going to go with Silva. I think I said Silva earlier. I flip-flopped back and forth for this one. It's been kind of a toss-up coin flip, even as you can see by the odds. I know earlier Macy Chiasson was a underdog, which I thought was a bit ridiculous. I think evens is perfect for it. It's perfect for any women's fight, honestly. Those could go anyway. It's a toss-up. It's whoever shows up on the night. But I'm going to go Mario Buenasilva winning a split decision, winning the first round and arguably the second round, with Macy Chiasson winning the third, clearly. Moving up, we have, I'm trying to do this. Roman Dolidze is taking on Anthony Smith. Now, if you know the story of this fight, you'll know that it's been like constant re-rolls on this one. Dude, it's been nuts. So this started out as Khalil Roundtree versus Anthony Smith, and not Anthony Smith. Khalil Roundtree versus Jamal Hill. Then it moved to Jamal Hill versus Carlos Ulberg because Khalil Roundtree tested positive, or he knew he was going to test positive for some type of banned substance, so he withdrew. And then it was Smith versus Hill. Good night. Hill versus Ulberg. And then Hill was forced to withdraw with a knee injury, and then it was Ulberg Smith. And then Ulberg withdrew, and I have no clue why he withdrew, but I'm hoping it was for some form of injury. I thought he had a really good shot at beating Anthony Smith, which was a really good fight for him. But now it's Anthony Smith versus Roman Dolidze. That being said, I believe Anthony Smith is a great underdog here. I think he's going to be able to get Roman on the ground, and I think he's going to be able to basically control him for all 3 rounds for the most part. They both have good jiu-jitsu for the weight classes they're in. Roman Dolidze on short notice is moving up a weight class. He's going to be a bit lighter than Anthony Smith, and Anthony Smith, as much as we meme on him, is just a better striker than Roman Dolidze. Roman Dolidze is terrible. He's a terrible striker. I mean, that being said, I still think he beat Marvin Vettori, but Marvin Vettori is terrible. He's a terrible striker. There is zero skill in what Roman Dolidze does. He just throws overhands nonstop. If you watched his fight with Imavov, it was so unbelievably sad to see that. And I picked Imavov to win that fight. But I was kind of rooting for Roman because Roman's fun to watch spam overhands and lose. It's funny to me. Anthony Smith is a slicker striker. He's got a more diverse skill set. That being said, he is coming off of a first-round submission over Vitor Petrino. That made me go insane. That was the day of my grandfather's funeral, and that's escalating quickly. I apologize. That's escalating a little quickly. But like, I was like, you know what? I was at Michigan, with my grandparents and everything, or my grandma now, and UFC 301 was happening that night, so we got home like an hour before the card starts. So I get on my laptop and I'm watching the card. I'm watching the card, and then everything's going super well. And then Vitor Petrino's kind of knocking Anthony Smith about a little bit, and then he shoots a double leg, and I'm like, okay, but why would you do that? Why is that something you decided to do? And then he sticks his head into a guillotine. And then he tries to slam Anthony Smith onto the canvas. And then immediately taps. It was a 2-second ordeal that should not have happened. There was no need for the double leg. You were winning the boxing exchanges at range. You were pressuring him up against the fence, and you were starting to land some clean shots on him. Nothing huge, but you just pepper Anthony Smith, and eventually you'll break him. I mean, you won't break him, but you can knock him out. And then Vitor Petrino took a dive. I refuse to believe that anything else happened. Either his IQ's below 12 or he took a dive. Those are the two things that were the option there. I don't understand the decision making. All right, Anthony Smith by decision. I don't see this fight going. Roman Dolidze, maybe he could club him over the top with a nice overhand or a decent meaty hook, but we'll see how it goes. I got Anthony Smith as an underdog here. That's 2 underdogs on this card right now, and we'll see if I pick another one. All right, next up we have, this is the fight I'm most excited for. Brian the Beaten Ortega versus Diego the Dog Lopez. Now, I say Brian the Beaten because in every fight he's ever been in, win or lose, he takes a significant beating. He got dropped like 4 times against Yair Rodriguez. And granted, Yair has this... he has this nature of being unable to finish a fight when he's not in a dire need of finishing a fight. Like, if he's winning a fight, he's going to lose the fight. That's just the reality of it. He was doing incredibly well, but he kept entertaining the guard of Ortega and halting himself from getting a finish. He didn't allow himself to get a finish because he wasn't smart about it. And am I coping a little bit because I picked Yair Rodriguez? Yeah, I'm coping a little bit. But at the same time, like, he had in the first round Brian Ortega kind of on the ropes, and halfway through the second round he was doing really well up until he just got grabbed and taken down, right? And then he just got singing out there for a while, and then in the third round Ortega ripped him to the canvas because apparently that physique is greater than Yair Rodriguez's physique. One of those two is superior, and it's not the one that I thought it would be. But apparently he's just unbelievably weak in the clinch, and he's easy to ragdoll, which I guess explains why Volk had such an easy time with it. But I just thought that was because Volk's literally just a tiny little wrecking ball of a man. It's okay to be wrong. But with this fight, we have him going up against Diego Lopez, who has some of the most intriguingly scary power in the division. As you know, on UFC 300, I picked Sadiq Youssef. I didn't expect Diego Lopez to crumple him twice within 2 minutes and put him away. A tad bit of an early stoppage, but that's exactly where it was heading. I'd rather them prevent damage than just watch it happen. And I got that prediction kind of horribly wrong. I thought Sadiq Youssef would be able to weather that storm early on, and he was not. Do I believe that Ortega will be able to weather the storm early on? I do. I believe it's a 3-rounder. If it's a 5-rounder, that changes things. But as a 3-rounder, I will be picking Diego Lopez. I think he can keep it up and win 2 rounds and stay alive in the 3rd round. I think he offers much more of a grappling threat than Yair Rodriguez. He's bigger, he's stronger, and he's extremely aggressive and dangerous. Does that get himself in bad positions? Yes, it does. And can Ortega capitalize? If anyone can at featherweight, it is Ortega. Going to be able to capitalize off of snagging something. But I just think Lopez he's the new blood of the division. He's him, Movzar, Bryce Mitchell, God rest his soul, unfortunately, with what happened against Emmett. And Ilia Topuria, I think they're the future of the division, and I think some of these older guys are going to be kind of slowly whittling their way out. Somehow Emmett stayed in there, I believe he's in the top 5 for as long as he has, even though all he has is like an ogreish overhand right, and that's literally it. But it works. I mean, his heavyweight style somehow works with the featherweights, but that's beside the point. And I believe Lopez will win a super... I think Lopez might even get a 10-8 in the first round. That's how kind of dominant I think this might be. Ortega's doesn't have good striking defense, and I think that's something you absolutely need to go against Lopez. Lopez is dangerous, and I don't think you can afford to not be defensively locked in. Like, you have, like, Ortega needs to be locked in for this fight. And I don't think he necessarily was for the Yair fight, but Yair is dumb. So that allowed Ortega the chance to recover and be like, okay, we're fighting. Like, this is happening. And he was able to march forward, get body locks, trips, throws, whatever he thinking wanted on thinking the string bean Yair. But yeah, I've got Diego Lopez by a unanimous decision, if not a finish. If this is 5 rounds, I'm just say Brian Ortega, but I believe it's 3 rounds. I'm actually gonna check real quick. 1 second. We're just gonna take a quick look. See here. Pez versus how many rounds? Picks, predictions, odds. Over 2.5. Draw. This isn't helping me. Well, why isn't this helping me? I don't even know if, like, Lopez is capable of going 5 rounds. Okay. Is Lopez versus Ortega 5 rounds? Let's break down. I'm just gonna assume that it's, yeah, I'm just gonna assume that it's 3 rounds. We'll see though. We'll see. Moving up, we have the main event. Michael Chandler and Conor McGregor. I don't know where Conor McGregor got that belt. He hasn't owned one of those in years. This isn't funny. I don't know why I thought that was funny to say in the moment. I'm not cutting that out though, because this one's not getting any editing, because that's what my shorts go to now. And this is one of the hardest fights I've ever predicted. This one I go back and forth with all the time. And I think my prediction comes down to the simple matter of game planning and short notice. Both of these guys were signed. That mouse is annoying me. Both of these guys were signed to fight each other for UFC 305 in Perth. They were going to be probably the main event over Adesanya versus Dricus du Plessis, which is an amazing fight, by the way. Still mad that it's happening, but happy it is as well. Yuri Prochazka is a man who thrives on an unwillingness to simply just not be that guy. He's that guy. Yuri Prochazka can be summed up as that guy. And yes, Alex Pereira chinned him, as I predicted he would in the second round. I didn't say second round. I thought it was going to be like the second or third. But Yuri Prochazka doesn't know what an adjustment is. I don't think he's ever made an adjustment in his game. He's still open to the leg kicks. He's chaotic. He still continually puts his hands down. I think he's coming off of a lot of confidence build up after that Rakic fight. But Rakic doesn't hit like Pereira does. And I know everyone talks about it like, Pereira, stone hands, he hit hard. Pereira hits hard. Dude, Pereira hits you like a Mack truck going 70 miles an hour on the freeway. Pereira's power is actually just different. And it's terrifying. With a short left hook, he lifted Yuri. He literally cartoon knocked Yuri off the ground out of his socks. That's what he did with a short left hook after a right hand to get Yuri to lean that way as Yuri was pressuring him up against the fence. That's terrifying power. And I don't know if Yuri Prochazka understands that he needs to not absorb the leg kicks and he needs to keep his hands up in this fight. Was Yuri doing well? Yes. Was Yuri pressuring Pereira against the fence well? Yes. Was he landing his own shots? Yes. None of them seemed to really rock or hurt Pereira. He always seemed coherent, but at the same time, like landing those shots, like they're gonna accumulate, especially when it's someone like Yuri Prohaska hitting you. Prohaska hits hard. That being said, short notice also benefits Yuri Prohaska. It doesn't give Alex Pereira a lot of time to really work over exactly what his game plan would be, and for him to even heal up those broken toes that he had during the Jamal Hill fight. This one's been hard, but I just don't think Prohaska is going to do enough different to beat Pereira. Could he win? Absolutely. Do I think he's going to? No. I think he's going to get chin checked again, and I think this time it's not going to be able to be considered an early stoppage. I think he's going to land something bigger. I think he's going to have slightly less respect for Yuri Prohaska, because again, Yuri Prohaska does nothing different between his fights. He doesn't know what he's going to do when he does it. He's a man of mystery, and I think the Weasel talked about this in his he hasn't made a prediction video, so I'm not copying, but his video breakdown talking about the fact that how Pereira can destroy Yuri Prohaska, and he's absolutely right. It's just the fact that you have to be in there with Yuri to know how to fight Yuri. You can't watch tape on him because you're not going to know how he's going to do anything while he's there. I think for Pereira, he has to stick with the body jab, faking straights to open up the leg kick. And I think that's going to be the bread and butter up until he has Yuri hurt up against the fence. I think he's going to have Yuri weak on his legs. I'm predicting a really cold third round KO. I think Yuri's not going to be tentative, and I think that's going to be a mistake from Yuri, because I think early on he's going to get clipped, and I think he's not going to get finished, but I think he's going to be much more tentative after that moment of almost getting put away a second time by the same man, and I think that's going to allow Pereira to start implementing a game plan of pushing Yuri back, keeping him away, landing stiff, hard, damaging shots to the body, to the lead leg, to the face, obviously the face. But I think he's going to thrive off a jab and a low kick. I think that's really just what Pereira has to do. Will Yuri implement a stronger grappling game? I think he absolutely can, but that also, we've seen how tired Yuri and labored Yuri can get in a 5-rounder, which it's not insane. He doesn't gas out insanely bad in a 5-rounder. But Alex Pereira doesn't really either, and this isn't at elevation. I don't think this is at elevation. I think this is in Las Vegas, I think, right? I don't know. I don't remember. But I have Alex Pereira winning by 3rd round knockout, but I wouldn't be surprised if this goes either way. Yeah, that's it. That's all I got for UFC 303. Let me know, main card. Full card predictions are going to come out in a short via tomorrow. I'm going to work on that a little bit, but I'm working a weird schedule, and days fly by right now. But the end of today will be the final day that I am working a weird schedule, so I should be able to go back to doing things a little bit more normally, and having a schedule for maybe some other releases, which most of you don't care about. But that's it. That's all I got for you today. Get lost, please. Thank you very much.